Frederick Douglass was born into slavery in the Talbot country of Maryland. He never had any knowledge of his birthday as there wasn't any record, but he assumed it was in the winter of 1818. At a very early age, he was separated from his mother and lived with his maternal grandma, though this wouldn't last, as by the age of 7, Douglass was taken from his grandma and was sent to serve under Hugh Auld in Baltimore. While there, Auld's wife started to teach Frederick the alphabet, but it was quickly disapproved and stopped. Douglass, however, didn't stop his desire to learn. In fact, he was able to learn to read and write from whiteboards around Maryland, but also by observing people's writings and newspapers. With this skill, Douglass started reading the New Testament to other slaves, which became very popular until his owner put an end to it. Though soon after, Douglass was returned to Maryland where he served under a poor, ruthless farmer named Edward Covey. It was here that Douglass was introduced to the serious horrors of slavery. You see, Covey was known as a slave breaker because he would whip his slaves brutally and endlessly with a twisted sense of pleasure. Anyway, it was because of these horrors that Douglass recounts almost giving up, as he was so broken spiritually and psychologically. However, by the age of 16, Douglass rebelled against the endless beatings by actually fighting back. He ended up winning this physical confrontation, and Covey proceeded to never beat him again. Frederick Douglass had always dreamed of freedom, but it wasn't until he fell in love with a free woman from Baltimore that his hope and belief in the possibility of freedom was strengthened. However, escape was almost impossible, as Douglass learned in his multitude of failed attempts, though after countless years he was finally able to board a train to Philadelphia, which allowed his dream of freedom to finally become a reality. As a free man, Douglass met up with the woman he fell in love with, Anna Marie, and married her. They both settled down in Bedford, Massachusetts, where Douglass became a preacher for the African Methodist Episcopal Church. It was as a preacher that Frederick Douglass developed his great orator skills, but also how he started to become known for his speeches on abolition, though it was during this time that he also wrote his first autobiography, The Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, which showed the serious horrors of slavery. But also through his immaculate prose, Douglass was able to attack preconceived notions about the intelligence of African Americans. This book would become a bestseller and would eventually launch him as one of the most prominent abolitionists in the United States. Throughout the rest of his lifespan, Frederick Douglass would fight for this cause as well as women's rights. This all culminated in Douglass's abolition newspaper, the North Star, which carried the motto, "Right is of no sex, truth is of no color, God is the Father of us all, and we are all brethren." Around 1851, however, Douglass started to redefine his approach by focusing on education as a way for African Americans to improve their life. Hence, he became a strong advocate for the desegregation of schools. Frederick Douglass would continue this fight for abolition and equality throughout the Civil War and Reconstruction until his death in 1895.